Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of What's in My Insurance Policy. Before I get started, I want to first thank everyone for listening and providing feedback. It's been great, and I do appreciate it. There has been some what I would consider negative feedback, and it all seems to be centered on one thing. That is the background here. These beautiful beige or white, off-white walls, and the blandness. I think one comment was, your walls match the subject matter. Hey, no one's making you watch. So to combat that, I've added the beautiful ceiling tiles this week. Maybe I can get the fluorescent lights in there. They're a nice touch, So if you're tired of seeing this in the background, drop me an email. I'll give you my address, and you can send me some artwork or something to hang up on the walls. So today, what I want to talk about is hired and non-owned auto, because it's an often misunderstood coverage. No one knows who exactly is covered or what is covered. So first, let's define hired and non-owned auto coverage, and then B, where can we find it? So hired coverage is essentially autos that you rent. Non-owned are autos typically used by your employees for your business. So think sales employees using their own vehicle to go to different various sales meetings. So combined, they're called hired and non-owned. Now they don't have to be combined. You could just have hired and not non-owned, or you have non-owned and not hired. So where are these found? So hired and non-owned coverage can be found, of course, in your auto policy. To figure out if you have hired and non-owned auto, you would look at, there's what's called a symbols page. And it gives you a number. So if you have number 1, that means covered. If you have an 8 or 9, hired and non-owned are covered as well. So if you have 1 and then 8 or 8 and 9, you have coverage. Now it can also be found in your as an add-on to your general liability policy or to your business owner's policy if you don't own vehicles and you don't have a policy. It can also just be a standalone policy. It typically is part of a package. So who does it cover? Well, it only covers you as the insured, so the business. It doesn't cover the employee or the driver necessarily, because they are not defined as an insured. Now there's a simple remedy which often isn't contemplated or added to the policy, and that's making employees as insureds endorsement. So you want to make sure you have that endorsement so that your employees are covered. You don't want to leave them high and dry. At least I, as a salesperson or employee, wouldn't want to be left high and dry by my company. Defend for myself. So why do you need it as a business? Especially if you don't have a sales force or you're not renting a lot of cars. Well, there's a couple reasons. It only takes one accident. I mean, when we look at auto rates are the anomaly in the insurance market. Everything's been soft, meaning prices have been good, competitive, consumer friendly. Auto's been the opposite. Prices have been climbing because claims have been climbing. The average claim gets higher and higher every year, and the frequency is still there. So what's going to happen is if your employee rents a car or is using their own car for company business, they get into an accident. They will then, and it's their fault, they are going to be sued. And most likely, the lawyer representing that third party is going to say, well, what were you doing? They're going to say, well, I was going to a meeting. All right, who do you work for? We're suing them as well. And that's where this will step in and protect you as the insured. Because even though you might think I've got no exposure, I can't control how they drive, that doesn't preclude you from getting named in a lawsuit. And maybe you might get out of the lawsuit, but you're still going to incur legal defenses, and that's what this policy can pay for. So if you don't have a sales force, you're a small company, you say, I don't need it, the price is going to be appropriate. I've seen it for a couple $100, and then it follows through on your umbrella coverage or your excess policy. So it's something that's worth having. Now, it's also important to remember that it's not going to cover the physical damage, so your comprehensive and collision. That's not part of this. This is a liability only. So damage that you do to a third party or a third party's property. So keep it in mind, give it a second thought. If you don't think you have much of a risk for it, get the pricing for it, because you're going to find it's not going to cost you really anything, especially if it can be added to a general liability or to a business owner's policy. But make sure you don't leave your employees high and dry. Make sure their employees are insured as well. So I hope this helps. Look forward to the emails, hanging some stuff up back here, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.